I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a moment of silence, please? All righty.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I just say one thing? In 1991, when I was in Heston, Kansas, we had a tornado go through. And the very next day, Senator Bob Dole was in Heston, Kansas, and brought $10 million to help the folks in Heston. And I just think we need to remember a great hero from Kansas has left us, and we just need to honor him.
Yes, absolutely.
We all got Bob Dole stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I thought you were going to say they're still waiting on their FEMA money.
No.
All righty. I'm going to call the meeting. I'm going to start roll call. Throw me a loop there. I'll be starting roll call. Mike Smith, aye.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye. Here.
Cubson.
Here.
Okay. Just threw me for a loop there. Okay, I don't think we have anybody on the 3-minute presentation. So, Marco, you have anything with the group?
Commissioners, I sent you an email on this last week. The Kansas Association of Counties has a special meeting on January 5th of 2022, and they've asked that we declare who the voting delegate for Leavenworth County would be. And then I think they also asked for a backup delegate just in case the primary delegate can't be there. If you would all like to decide who you want that to be, that would be great. We need a motion and a vote on that.
I can do that if you want.
Jeff, you want to do that? Okay. Who will do
Chairman,
that?
I move that we appoint Commissioner Culverson to be the voting delegate for the Kansas Association of Counties.
Second.
This motion is second. Discussion. I'll call the roll. Aye.
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 All right. Do we need a backup too?
Yes,
No,
an alternate.
alternate.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
take care of it. Vicky, take care of it.
No, I'm going to be out of town.
Oh, okay.
Good.
And I move that we,
I move that Doug Smith.
Second.
Call the roll. Aye.
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 Get the credit.
Thank you very
That was
much.
fast.
I wasn't going to give him a chance to
I thought you were
speak.
getting ready to volunteer, so I figured
You
I'd
got
just go ahead
voluntold.
I was getting ready to volunteer a Smith.
And that's what I was afraid of. Thanks, guys, for taking that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Mark? Administrative business?
No, sir.
Commissioners, y'all have anything you want to say before we move on? Okay, if not, I'll go to the consent agenda. Any items need to be pulled?
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 All right. Let's go to formal board action. Consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-56, authorizing the offering for sale of general sales tax refunding bonds of Leavenworth County.
Commissioners, our financial advisor, David Arterberry with Stiefel, had brought to our attention that we have an opportunity to do a refunding on a bond that was issued in 2016. This is the first opportunity to call it with the pretty significant savings to the county. Obviously, David is here, and he's can answer any questions or give you a little more detail on it if you like.
Dave, you want to come up front? It's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Mark, is this
Familiar
the
face, but-
December 8th bond of 2016? That sound right?
This was actually the 2015.
Oh, the payday loan. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. David Arterberry. It's nice to see you all again. As Mark mentioned, the county has an outstanding bond issue, a Series 2015 issue that becomes callable March 1 of next year. And what we've looked at is there an opportunity for the county to refinance that bond issue at current interest rates to create some savings? And right now, it looks like the answer to that is yes. Now, nothing would be locked in just yet. There's a process that you'd have to go through to do the refinancing. Right. But at least based on current interest rates, it appears that there's could be a pretty significant amount of savings available to the county. And I just want to spend a minute to kind of go through these numbers so you can kind of see how the transaction would work. And make sure that if you've got any questions, you get them answered. Because if you do adopt the resolution today, the next time we would be coming back to you would be probably in January with the results of the bond offering. So this isn't the final step that you'd have to take. That wouldn't occur until January, but this would be a sort of a big step. It would really begin the process to do the refinancing. There's a set of numbers that I think you should have in front of you. Mark, could you?
I think that document was. Do you not have it? They may not have it.
Okay. I'll just review it real quick. Okay. The county's outstanding 2015 bonds currently have about $6,985,000 remaining to be paid on them. And the interest rate on those is about 3.18%.
And that was an $8.5 million bond?
I think originally, I think that's right. If you were to do a refinancing right now, with the issuance costs related to the refinancing, the bond issue size would probably need to be about $7,150,000. And we project, based on current interest rates, that the all-in interest rate on the new borrowing, even when you factor in the issuance costs, would be about 1.84%. So cutting the interest rate about 1.4% or so. Based on those rates and that size of the new bond issue, we estimate that could save the county somewhere around $155,000 per year through each year for the remaining life of the bond issue, which goes out to 2037. So in total, the savings would be approximately $836,000.
That's excellent.
And that $50,000 or so, $55,000 of savings each year, I believe that what that would end up resulting in is just that much available sales tax to be used to pay for other projects that you would want to fund. That's really about it. It's really similar. Refinancing a bond issue is real similar to just refinancing, a home loan. You go out and you take out a new loan, do a new bond issue, and use the proceeds from that new issue to pay off the old issue. The resolution that you have in front of you today is it's called the go-to-market resolution, and it basically authorizes staff and us and Gilmore and Bell, your bond counsel, Gina Rieckhoff is here with them, to proceed with the offering for sale of the bonds. So if you pass the resolution, we would begin to go through the process of getting a rating prepared, doing disclosure documents, and then all of that would lead up to a sale of the bonds that, according to the schedule, we would conduct on January 11th. And then at your meeting the next morning on the 12th, we would present the final results to you.
And now's the time to do it. Go ahead,
One
Mike.
question for you. The typical and regulated fees that you charged for the refinance, are those typical from all organizations like you work for get identical fees?
They're very similar. They're not identical. I mean, each firm charges, a different level of fees, but, the fees that we're charging on this transaction are very similar to what we would typically charge on this sort of.
Right, and you are and it's all meeting the regulations.
There's a lot of municipal bond industry regulations, and and our agreement with the county and our fees would all comply with all of those rules. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, Mark, what about the August 2015, the $8.5 million bond? Where are we at on that?
I mean, I don't know that off the top of my head, Commissioner.
But did we?
Obviously we're talking about the 2015 A bonds right now. David typically reviews our bonds on a regular basis to see when they're callable, but I just
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because that's the one that really concerned me, the one they did in 2015. Right after the sales tax passed, we weren't even going to be collecting any sales tax till 2017, and the money just sat there. And then they done the 2016 sales of the bond right before I took office.
I remember.
Because they were going to be rock stars here and how cheap the interest rate was and all that. And then we spent $700 and some thousand worth of interest before we spent any of the money toward a project. So we need to salvage as much as we can from this train wreck.
That's right. This is
Don't say train wreck.
No pun intended.
and this is definitely one way to do it. Some of that. But these rates, and I don't think these rates are going to stay. That's one of the things.
Well, they're not going to start
we need
paying
to do
us to
this.
borrow money.
This
I know that.
time is.
When does the rate become locked in?
It gets locked in officially on January 11th. Now, there are some safeguards kind of built in here if interest rates should spike up. The resolution that you have in front of you has got a minimum savings threshold in it equal to, let me back up. A lot of times when we're measuring the savings on a refinancing in the municipal bond industry, what we do is we look at the present value of those savings. And sort of a benchmark is that if the present value of those savings is 3 to 5% of the amount of bonds you're refinancing, then it's worth considering doing the transaction, doing the refinancing. The present value savings right now of your transaction is about 10.4%. So you're well above what I think most industry standards would say is an acceptable level of savings. You're double it. The resolution that you have in there does set a minimum targeted savings level of 5% present value. So if the savings is not 5% present value, we'll postpone the sale. We won't conduct the sale. We'll come back and we'll report to you, and then you'd need to decide if you wanted to try to sell it again, lower that threshold, or wait until the market changed.
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't see it going up that.
What's that?
I don't see interest rates going up that significantly.
I think I determined it would have to be. I sent an email to Mark about this, but 6 or 7/10 of a percentage point above current levels in order to fall below that 5%. And I would hope that that's not going to happen in the month or so we've got here.
That's why it's time to do it now.
Okay, so, now, was that the time when we were selling taxable bonds and non-taxable bonds? Was that during this one?
During that time frame, they did have some of both issuance types going on.
Okay. That doesn't make any difference on either one of these?
Well, that actually is a good point. In order to get the lowest possible interest rate, tax-exempt bonds would be the ones that you would want to issue. And we can refinance the 2015 bond issue now with a tax-exempt bond issue, another tax-exempt bond issue. So the old bonds were tax-exempt, and these would also be tax-exempt. And the reason we can do a tax-exempt refinancing right now is because the old bonds become callable on March 1.
Okay.
If we wanted to refinance a bond issue in advance of its call date, more than 90 days before those old bonds become callable, the refinancing would have to be done as taxable bonds.
Well, I think the taxable bonds, if I remember right, it was like $4.1 million or something at that time in December of 16.
Yeah,
Does that sound right?
they did it with. They issued both taxable and and tax exempt at the same time.
Right.
Because there's a threshold that you can do.
It was like $9.7 million or something like that.
There was a small,
And
there was a portion
4.1
of
was
it.
taxable, I think.
That's correct.
And I might be off a few dollars, but I just remember that bad decision. So
Okay.
let's fix it.
Any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution 2021-56, authorizing the offering for sale general sales tax refunding bonds of Leavenworth County.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 It is completed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Look forward to seeing you in January.
Was it February 3rd of 2015 when the mail-in ballots were to approve the sales tax? To start the sales tax collection in 2017. And then they borrowed money in August of 15 already before we were starting to collect
I
sales
remember.
tax. My goodness.
Just set on it.
And set on it and paid
They
interest.
paid for it later.
Hurry up and
At the
wait.
time. Okay, item B, consider a motion to award the multi-form authentication project to Converge One and authorize the chairperson to sign the scope of work in an amount not to exceed $15,416.40.
Larry.
Good morning.
Morning, Larry.
Commissioner Smith summed it up rather well. That's exactly what I bring before you. Do you have any questions regarding multi-form authentication or this project in specific?
I don't.
No,
I
we spoke
suspect
on
you've
this.
all suffered multi-form authentication. If you
Yeah, we
signed on to
spoke
your
on this
bank
before.
or
Agony.
virtually anything. That's what we're going to be doing here. I know everybody really enjoys it.
We've talked that to death, so we'll do. Any other questions for him? Larry? Okay, I'll take a motion then. Anybody want to do it?
Consider a motion to award the multi-form authentication project Converge One and authorize the chairperson to sign a scope of work in an amount not to exceed $15,416.40.
Second. Having a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you, Larry.
apologize for taking up so much of your time.
Anytime. Larry.
Always good to see you. Okay. Consider a motion to allow exemption for county policy governing personal line item expenditures and allow payments of a bonus to employees in the classifications of detention officer, deputy sheriff, and communications officer in the amount of $79,000. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning, how are you?
Okay.
So what you just stated is one of two requests that I bring before the board this morning. The first one, the one you just addressed, what I'm seeking is to, I don't like to say the term reward, but to acknowledge staff that have held strong, that have remained in this profession during this last difficult year and a half, 2 years. It is continually a challenge to attract good applicants. As it is, we're averaging about 77 applicants a year that we are attracting, and we're hiring probably a quarter of that amount. And then when you have retirements and employees leaving the field for a change of career or moving out of state, whatever, it makes it extremely difficult to maintain staff. And when we can't maintain staff, it's hard to respond to requests for service in different areas throughout the county. And this is necessarily the clerical piece of it. It is it's the boots on the ground. It's communication officers, it's detention officers, it's patrol, and it's investigators. This, in a small way, is recognizing the fact that those who remain have stood by, who continue, who are dedicated to the people of Leavenworth County. And like I said, again, it acknowledges their their desire to stay within the county government, and it's a way for us to show the appreciation to them. This is not a request for additional funds. This is funds that already exist within a personnel line item, which will not be used due to the fact that I don't have a full lineup of personnel. And the request would be to allow this one-time deviation from the policy in which personnel funds are used to administer this retention bonus to these employees.
Question? I see. As long as it's, Sheriff, I see it's you've got the funds are available within your budget for that year. So it's a question I had on that. So, and this may be the next one coming up, but I just need to ask it because I just don't know. I know some cities and some counties when they hire on people. I'm going to ask another question. Hire on people. There's like a bonus if you hire a certified person coming on. Have we ever done that, or have you ever thought about that, or is that even something you'd even consider?
When we hire an officer that's already state certified, that's reflected where they're positioned at on the pay scale.
On the pay scale? Okay. Thank you.
Question for Mark. Have we done bonuses in various departments of the county in the past?
No.
Commissioner, the county used to provide longevity bonuses to employees. That was done away with several years ago, but that practice had been in place for several decades.
Okay.
So if you wish to term longevity bonus, it's the same as what the sheriff's referencing. It has been done.
Okay.
I believe it was a meeting about this time of the year when, as of 10 o'clock today, we suspend all longevity bonuses and sick leave payout, effective immediately.
It was most welcome.
It was a real popular decision. But as far as the sheriff, the sheriff was elected by the people of Leavenworth County. He's an elected official. I'd say we need to allow him to run his department the way.
Oh, the funds for the
Yeah, the funds are there.
It's his budget.
It's his budget.
It's his budget.
He is an elected official. I don't have any.
I do want to make sure to just clarify, though, what was said. There is a longevity program the sheriff has for all of his staff currently. This is not a longevity program. This is
Just for the sheriff's department.
This is a one-time
Okay.
retention payment that is available through funds budget already.
Do you anticipate trying to accomplish this in the future, or what do you think this will be a repetitive thing that you'll be doing?
The desire is that this is the one and only time as we continue to work to try to fill vacant positions.
Right. I know when I first, 3 years ago now, but when I first got elected, we had visited about the, coverage in the south part of the county, and one of the difficulties was getting people hired. And since that time, we've, the wages have come up some, and have you feel like you've been making some progress on that?
There's an ebb and tide. It's a profession in that you're always looking at what your neighbor's doing, looking for something better. So we haven't lost staff to other law enforcement positions. We've lost staff to other careers through other life decisions. We have attracted, we've changed some of our policies. We have changed some of the ways we go about recruiting and hiring people, and we have been able to attract already certified officers from other departments. Obviously, there's a limit to what we can do in the local area without affecting the other municipalities. But at the same time, if they come to us and they're a good candidate, we're definitely going to hire them.
Yeah.
I think this is just the tip of the iceberg we're going to start seeing because of the way times are right now. As far as Leavenworth County, HR told me we lost about 75 people at the county since the first of the year. So the problem I think people aren't thinking about is you can raise the starting salaries and give bonuses and stipends, for signing up, but you've also got to take care of the people that are already there because nobody wants to train somebody that's making more than them after they've been there for several years. So it's twofold.
Right. Commissioner Stevens said he couldn't even get donuts this morning.
Yeah, donuts were gone.
So
there's
no workers.
I was thinking of Commissioner Smith. Well, both Commissioner Smith.
That's a thought counts.
Yeah, the thought tastes good, Mike. Thank you.
But it's everywhere though. So.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But we can't just shut the sheriff's department down either.
No.
Well, if you think this is going to help and work for you, I think certainly that we're behind you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Anita.
Is that
Ready
your
for a
motion?
Sure. Well, I can make a motion. Let's see here. A motion to allow exemption to county policy governing personnel line item expenditures and allow payments of a bonus to employees in classification or of detention officer, deputy sheriff, and communications officer in an amount of $79,000.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 Alrighty. Moving on to the next one, Sheriff, is consider a motion to allow exemption of county policy governing personal line item expenditures and allow a recruitment stipend in the amount of $16,500.
Thank you. And this is in the same vein. People who are committed to the sheriff's office, they want to be there, they want to attract like people. And again, I stated that we are enjoying some success in recruiting certified officers from other agencies already, and that is 100% due to current staff reaching out to associates that they work with and encouraging them to come and apply. Reality is I have 124 positions that have been allotted. I have 22 vacancies. And I think if we can encourage all employees to reach out to somebody that they think may have an interest or the ability to serve in the sheriff's office and get them on board, then I think we should acknowledge that as well. And this would be a campaign. This would not be a for the rest of eternity thing. Essentially, I got 22 positions I'm looking to fill. And the way this would work is if they brought somebody to me and we go through the process and they get hired, then they'd be given $250 stipend. And then following 6 months of successful service, then they would receive the second half in the amount of $500 for a total of $750 for bringing somebody on. So the 22 positions equal about $16,500, and that's about what we pay in a pay period on overtime because we have vacancies. So if we could put that into action too on a limited time to help address some of this, I think that would go a long way as well. It'd be an encouragement for employees to try a little bit harder and maybe think, who else do I know to come and join the office? Because it's we ask them to do a difficult job. Communications has been extremely tough. The last 3 that we've trained, right after we trained them, they decided the stress was too much for them, and so we lost 10 months of training per individual. So it takes the right person, and the people who work there know what it takes, and so we want to be able to encourage them to attract them and bring them to us.
And some of the things that's affecting, we don't have an SRO in the Easton school because lack of employees. We haven't even talked about the Baser school yet, SRO. They just don't have enough people. So whatever we can do to help that situation, I think we need to do.
I agree. Ready for a motion?
Go right ahead if everybody's through.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow the sheriff an exemption on the county policy governing personal line item expenditures and allow a recruitment stipend in the amount not to exceed $16,500.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 Thank
Aye.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And Merry Christmas.
Well, I've seen before now.
Consider a motion, ready, Jim. Morning, Bill. Consider a motion to approve the annual agreement to treat noxious weeds on state highway right-of-ways in Leavenworth County.
Thank you, Commissioners. Representing the Noxious Weed Department today, we do have for your consideration the approval of our agreement that we do yearly with the KDOT to spray noxious weeds along KDOT right-of-way. It's going to be an interesting year for chemicals. Prices have gone up substantially over the last few months.
Surprise.
One example that I talked to Alan Phillips with about yesterday was glyphosate had gone from $23 a container to $63 per container in the past 45 days. And so the agreement does not include the cost of the chemicals that would be used. It is just the hourly rate that would be applied to the time. The chemicals are a cost plus and would be added to that hourly rate. It's an unknown variable, but that is how KDOT sets it up because they understand prices fluctuate. That being said, I think we, as we are required by state statute, offer the chemicals at the discounted rate for noxious weed control. The amount of money that costs the county when the chemicals goes up also increases. So it'll be an interesting year to see what we are able to provide the public and what we have access to based upon the current situation.
Well, the budget's not going to handle this. If we have the same usage as we've had in the past, which I'm sure property owners are going to not be purchasing it, even at the discount rate. And do we also have to give the discount rate to KDOT?
No, we do not have to give that discount rate to KDOT. We'll give them actual costs.
But you may not even be able to get the chemical.
If we can get the chemical, some chemicals are going to be harder to get than others. I know last year we had price increases on 2,4-D because of the freezing temperatures down in Texas and some of the plants down there. This year there's issues with the supply chain. That's what they claim from a lot of the chemicals that come from overseas in the Asian market. So it's hard to say. We do have some chemicals stocked up. We did fill up our storage areas, and so we have that chemical on hand currently at the current rates before they kind of skyrocketed here just recently. But I think a lot less people will be buying chemical if it's 4 times as expensive as it was the previous year.
Use the diesel.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
There's no danger of KDOT ever taking over their noxious weed control in their right-of-ways.
There's no danger of that?
Yeah.
Well, we'd welcome it. I would say I don't know if I call it a danger. We'd welcome them taking over their own weed control. But
we just wouldn't want to lose the business.
Yeah. I don't know that that's actually profitable here, but
do all counties all over the state take care of the KDOT right-of-way, or does the KDOT take care of any of their right-of-ways?
I'm not aware of any counties or any roads that KDOT takes care of the noxious weeds along. I believe that it is all county as far as
I think it is, but I didn't know if things were changing.
I don't think KDOT can get any staff. They can't even get the staff to do their snow removal from what the press releases they've put out are.
Well, we don't want to start helping with that.
No. So we'll stick to noxious weed control.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns for Bill? Okay, if not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve the annual agreement to treat noxious weeds on state highways right-of-way in Leavenworth County.
Second.
Motion and second. I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
It is approved. Alrighty. Consider a motion to approve the construction contract for the HP 19 bridge replacement project.
Today, for your consideration, we do have Ebert Construction has provided the contract for the replacement of HP 19. They were the low bidder on the project. We had a competitive bid process, as you guys remember. You guys approved moving forward with that project a couple weeks back. We are asking for a 5% contingency fee on top of the cost of the original contract. This is a Wilson design bridge. It has been in design for many years, and we're excited to move forward with getting it constructed.
Spoken on this. Questions?
Cos's district.
No questions? Okay. Motion to approve the construction contract for the HP 19 bridge replacement project.
Second.
Oh, would y'all mind not to exceed?
Not to exceed $1,589,000.
No, that's
Oh.
the contingency.
Oh, with the contingency?
Yeah.
Okay, here I am. Thank
Okay.
you. $1,669,686.35.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? I'll start the roll call. Aye.
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 All righty. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Probably be the cheapest bridge you see ever.
Mhm.
Once the infrastructure money hits the street.
That's right.
They're going to go, you
I
betcha.
totally agree.
Nobody's going to be hungry.
Yeah.
It's getting ready to change. Okay, we're on presentation discussions. Mark, did you have anything for our coming? David?
Nothing, Commissioner.
County Commissioners, I think I had something, but I forgot what it was.
We all went to the ribbon cutting.
That was it?
Oh, yeah.
That was it. Doug, I'll let you lead with that. Go ahead, guy. You're up next.
Commissioner Cos and I attended the city commission meeting last night in Leavenworth, and I need to disclose that the three commissioners showed up at a brunch on Saturday, but we did not sit at the same tables, and I was actually rude to the other two, so we didn't speak. But I think we're safe.
You weren't
the
too
Attorney
rude.
General was there, so I think we're safe. But I had no idea there was going to be two other commissioners there, or we would have had it on the agenda. But we did not violate anything or discuss anything.
Okay.
And I think I got Basher tonight. I think that's it.
Doug. Mike?
I went and visited and publicized on social media that the Dollar General store in Linwood has opened, and they are hopefully going to be working with LCDC and some of these organizations to set up a grand opening, ribbon cutting, that type of thing. And so that's in the works, but they are open for business.
When's that one in Easton going to open up? Never mind. Go ahead, Mike.
That wasn't
Thank
nice.
you for that.
That was not nice.
I'm only trying to help him.
Other things that have gone on, I've had several comments on roads because it's dry out, so we're getting a lot of road issues. So,
My road's fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
That's great on the Linwood thing. I mean, the city, the sales tax the city's going to receive.
It's awesome.
From our sales
I
tax.
think it is too.
It's going to be a big deal for them.
That's going to change.
It's going to help us.
and if you live down there, you don't have to drive all the way into Bonner or all the way to Lawrence or
Oh,
all
I
the way
think
to
it's
DeSoto.
I
Well,
think
I'm
you're
just
going to be
noticing-
surprised at the amount of business that
I
you're
just
going to receive.
noticed Mike down there has been more active in that community, which I think is really a great thing on other issues too.
Well, then you need to come down to the fundraiser. Is it in February? They have the school has a
Oh, the
fundraiser
chili.
for the yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
okay.
good.
You'll have to stand to eat.
We have to do that then.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we might be able to get you a seat.
Last couple. Well, last
Maybe
time I
get
went,
you a cinnamon roll too.
Okay.
They have silent auction and they have a live auction.
Since you didn't get donuts today, maybe you'll have a cinnamon roll down in Linwood.
Are you finished, Mike?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Speaking of, had Easton City Council meeting Monday night, which never disappoints. The reason I was there mostly was we're talking about getting no jake brake signs put up, but found out KDOT doesn't allow those anymore, but
That's
we
right.
found a workaround. You can put them up in the city limits. So I met with the city council, and we're going to prepare an ordinance for them to sign to.
Yeah, we put those up in Lansing on the highway, and then they come back.
Took them down.
That we had to reword them.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
we met with KDOT and talked about it, and we found a workaround. So
Yeah.
we're working on that.
Okay.
Also, there's a alley that's on one of the county lots that needs vacated to make some of the plans they got happen. So we're working on that. And then the lot that the county has that has a lot of stuff dumped on it, we're working a plan to get that cleaned up.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Vicki?
Well, no, as Commissioner Smith reported, that's pretty much what I have to report. I would say that, just for anybody that is interested, the United Way of Leavenworth County, today is the final day of their online silent auction. to raise funds for the United Way. So if you have online access and Facebook access or whatever, please go on till 6:30 p.m. tonight and bid on the silent auction items. There's some really neat stuff on there because the United Way can use the support of the community.
Right. Is that all we?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. No alibis? Okay, then if not, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second. Aye.
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 Aye.